Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of the Silver Slander podcast, your weekly dive into all things Discord tier for tranquility. My name is Phoebe Wonder. I'm going to be your main host. We're going to go around in a little circly doodah. I can't tell if my thing is mirrored or not, so we'll go whoever's over here first.
Oh, called Hi, I'm Cherd. I'm the team captain for Geometric. Uh, yeah, I'm been playing in Frank for a while, so glad to be around.
And then down here,
I'm Mello. I'm main support with Chert on Geometric as well. Also been playing in Trank for a couple of years now, I think.
Hi, I'm Bento. I'm playing on Clairvoyance this season. I'm new on the podcast.
Hi, I'm Coach Sands. I'm actually new to Tranquility this season, but Overwatch is not new to me. I'm the captain for Skull and Cross Keys.
all right, and just because I don't think I mentioned it, I am the main support for the Kappas. So we can go right ahead. So obviously, we've already had the first week so far. We can go over some of the matches that we had going on. First one probably be that featured match. We had two featured. We'll talk about one of them right here. 3.5 versus Need to Feed Inferno. This was an interesting one. This was pretty quick. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Because it was a bit wacky in my point of view here.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I feel like 3.5, like I feel like they really knew what they wanted to play with like the Mercy on it. They didn't really change it up off of that the entire time, and that's not something like we really see anymore. You know, everyone's playing like Gary, Lucy, and things like that, or like Moira. So that was kind of interesting to see them make that work and play around that for like the entire match. So yeah.
Yeah, so it was where it's like I watched quite a few matches. This was the one where there seemed to be less of a mirror from both sides. It's like other matches seemed to both sides always come out on the same things. This one was quite different. Like we see Ash and Cass on a map you don't expect to see. Cass or Ash was pretty interesting seeing just them try something different.
Yeah, we had a scrim against 3-5, and they kind of did the same thing. I don't think I saw their supports switch a single time through like 7 maps. We did like 7 maps. Never saw them switch. So as soon as I saw them on a Mercy, I was like, okay, this is just their staple. It was interesting. I didn't really expect them to just like roll over that hard, because they seem to be like still getting their groove of things, but even still they played really well, so can't discount them there.
Yeah, it was a 3-0. I know that I'm a bit like low on 3.5 right now, just because there aren't many times where like in Discord tier especially you'll be able to win with like a Mercy Lucio for an entire map.
Yeah.
And that's something that like you're playing with like a Pharah hiding inside like a King's Row hotel sort of thing. Like it's not something that I would really expect to happen very often, you know?
Yeah. But that's, I feel like they did play, like, I feel like they really knew how to play that, though. Like, even if, I would say, like, I'm not super high on them either just because, like, it's weird. Like, but I don't know how long they can get away with it, but they did seem to know how to, like, play into that style really well.
Right. What are you guys' thoughts on Inferno? I think this is a new org. They have like 3 or 4 teams across from Harmony to Trance tier. This is one of them. When I see it as like they definitely like have a plan what they want to do each fight, but then they'll just sort of splinter off like as the fight goes on, and it'll make the fight really scrappy, and like they can win it if the other team also gets scrappy, but otherwise it's just a really rough time for them.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times what like their fights really broke down into is just like their ramp would just like run in past the Orisa, and then like the like 3.5's Mercy would just like run away, and then that was kind of it. Like they were split, and then they couldn't like capitalize on any of the space they made or anything like that after the Ram like went in.
Yeah, that's what I saw most of the fights, especially on Kings. Kings, there was a lot of times that their Ram would just like, I felt like their Ram had a plan, but he didn't communicate that plan to all the rest of his team at times, because he would start to move in and his team would kind of lag behind, not really get the space they needed to get together. And then it was just like, okay, well, the fight's over because you lost your tank. So,
Right.
Especially into pharmacy on Kings, like that was a big problem, especially at first point. They like kind of did their own version of like the big bamboozle, but it was just too slow. And then like 3.5 far, it just got to sit there and shoot them while they all try to walk into hotel after they flip map.
Yeah, they kind of forgot the bamboozle part of that whole thing, but maybe that'll come with this next up week.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and go into our second match to look at, which was the Koala Kings versus Team Toucans. Mello, this is one that you said that you wanted to talk about. What did you see here?
I guess going into it, I would say preseason, I probably had Koalas being the #1 team. I've just known them for way longer than I probably want to admit. It's only been like 3-4 years, but when I found he's picking a team, I just kind of automatically knew his team would be one of the best, even just knowing it was just him. Didn't know any other player at the time, so I had pretty high hopes for them. And then finding out they lost to another team was kind of really surprising to me. So I really want to watch this match. For this match, I only got to watch the first 2 maps, and they were extremely close from what I remember. My control being pretty sure 199 all 3 rounds, and then Kings Row, Koala's capped with a lot of time, and then on Koala's defense when Toucan was pushing, Koala had the advantage in like every fight, for every overtime fight for each point, and still lost it. I thought that was a little like uncharacteristic for a team from Dev, I would say, from experience. And so just saying, so I think, in my opinion, these 2 teams are probably the top 2, in my opinion.
Ooh.
And they both they played Busan. Both ran a Doomfist mirror for the first 2 points. I think Mecha Base was a little bit different. I thought that was interesting because I didn't see many other teams opening on Doomfist very often.
Yeah, that was there were pretty scrappy fights on Busan, and I felt like both teams really had plans and stuff. I feel like something that like really gave like Koala some of that like edge in some of the fights was that like Koalas were doing a little bit better of like, it felt like when they were like, okay, like we're gonna EMP and like 3-2-1, they got those off really clean. But then like if the fight got a little like straggled on a little longer than they wanted it to, they had trouble cleaning it up.
Yeah, I know. I talked to a few of the people, and I did hear that I think 2 of them are like sort of off-rolling, Nevino and Koi.
Yeah.
So that's something that like they're kind of new to those roles. I also kind of expect them to get a lot better as the season goes on. Toucans, new team, really awesome to see. This is the first time I've seen them, so I don't have any sort of scrimbucks on them. If you're hyping them up, Mello, like I'm expecting big things here. I don't remember what I predicted for him, but
yeah, I think I have, at least for next week, I have them. Like I'll probably have them 3-0 for a while until they lose. Just from what I saw from this one match.
Yeah, it was. They played really, really well.
Yeah, and like their Tracer, I forgot who. I think they swapped at some point. Yeah. Just like not really to carry, but was just right place, right time, and was just solid. Like the entire for the 2 maps that I watched, which I know will be a problem for a lot of teams that aren't together. That can't handle a consistent living Tracer in your backline, hunting down either support or DPS.
Right. If there's no more on that, we can go on to our next one here, which is Kappas versus Jubix Cubed. Sure, do you want to start us off on this one? What did you see here? What are you interested in with these 2 teams?
We scrimmed you guys a bit, and I just want to see how you guys did in like a match, So I want to see how you guys did, and I felt like in the match, like you guys adapted really well to some of the stuff they threw at you, because I know they like made some like different plans, like a different like comp swaps, like the Cass on King's Row. I feel like it took you guys a second to get
Mhm.
under that, but then you got that. And I feel like the big like difference maker is you guys like weren't afraid to use your ults when like things got scrappy. Like you would be down two, and you guys would still use your ult, like ults to win out the fight. Which I think, what's it called? Jubix was a little like they played a little safer,
Mhm.
with their ults and didn't get as much value, from them that when they could have in like some of the scrappier fights.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I saw. I mean, y'all were y'all were down 2 on Kings on second, and I see your Soj slide in and pop
Oh
rail,
my God.
kill 3,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm just like, all right, well, I guess that's a fight one. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. That was wild time. I can tell you right now, Suravasa, absolutely hate that map whatsoever.
Yeah,
We
that was
I'm not sure if part of it is that we honestly just have never played against a Sigma comp like with this whole roster and everything. So we were just like, we don't know what to do here. So it was a bit of a wacky time trying to figure out how to do that. Rest of the time, we kind of knew what to do. But like it was our first time actually doing the on a brig on dive. We had normally gone Lucio Kiriko there. We made the shift. We think it worked out. I'm a bit worried that like sometimes we play a bit slow, and that's why we tend to have troubles. But other than that, I think Kappas, I think they're a pretty good team. They're a pretty solid team. They're really good. They're really good mechanically. I can just say that right now. I think Aegis are really good mechanically, and it's sort of the still working a bit on the team aspect, and then we'll be really high up there. But yeah,
I don't remember if I was watching or playing against you guys, but I recall Clairvoyance having a scrim against Kappas, and I looked at the scoreline. I didn't get a chance to catch many of the games this week, but when I saw the scoreline, I was not surprised, not whatsoever.
Mhm.
I think Kappas are definitely up there. I don't think I'm not sure if he was on the team at the time, but I mean, I've seen
I don't
Phoebe
think
play. I'm
so.
not surprised. I'm not surprised. Either.
I joined rather late. I can say that right now. I joined like probably a few weeks before the season started. I was originally just gonna be just not playing, and then it worked out that I was able to play. But I'm glad I joined. It's a pretty fun roster. A lot of goofballs. Any other notes for Kappas versus Jubix?
I'll just add, I know like we've scrimmed y'all twice now, I think, as well as doing warm up with y'all. You guys are definitely really solid. Like I think you guys are. It feels like you're just always like one step in front of us at all times.
Mhm.
Our scrims felt close, but yeah, like I said, I think you guys are just ahead. Y'all's tempo of pushing is really good. Like you guys catch us like 1 second faster than we're ready. It felt like a lot of fights. So that's something really good. Especially from you, Phoebe. Like we see you as Lucio running at us. Like whoever dies, like yeah, Lucio's in my face the whole time. So it's something that I know we as a team struggle with, that we need to get better with. I just wanted to kind of hype you guys up there a little bit.
Yeah, I will say just because we didn't really talk too much about Jubix, I think they're a pretty solid team.
yeah, definitely.
The main thing I'm worried about is like I've heard a lot of good stuff about like especially their DPS. Like Xander, I think is really good mechanically, but like his positioning, like if you'll watch back something like the King's Row, he'll just be like, it's like he's living in Tampa Bay because that's Florida right there. He's on the floor the entire time. He doesn't take too much like actually high angles. You'll see it a bit on Siravasa too, which is playing. But then the other real thing that we notice is that their flex support Alexis is like very easy to get out like her abilities, and then they'll like use them really quickly, and then it's not really like the best effect, so it's a lot easier to chase them. And that was like our main strategy for a lot of like the first 2 fights or first 2 maps, and then we forgot about it entirely for Suravasa. But I think they are a solid team. I expect them to be sort of like in that running for like 3rd place in that group.
Yeah, I think like I noticed like Xander would get like picks, and then there's this one moment like on what's it called, on Busan, where Xander got a really early pick on like a tracer, and then they just kind of let you guys hang out and get like set, and they didn't push you guys at all, even though they were up one. So I feel like that's like something that is like kind of holding them back. That like when they had an advantage, they were kind of just sitting there and like we're like, okay, we got a pick, nice, and then nothing happened after that. So I feel like if they can like capitalize off of those picks and stuff like that, I think they'll be in a really solid spot.
Any other notes for Kappas versus Jubix?
Just to add on to like what Turd was saying, there was a lot of times they just played a little too slow. There were fights where like I said earlier, y'all were down 1 or 2, and they played so slow that somebody could come back in with 1 or 2 ultimates, sweep the fight, and then you still have ultimates for the next fight. And it's just something they just need to work on. If they could get that, they're definitely a contender for sure. I mean, the team looked good, mechanically good, and it was just little things here and there that was kind of like, okay, they lost this fight because they did two or three things wrong, and you fix those 2 or 3 things, and it's all of a sudden like that's a 2-3 game.
Yeah. All right, we can go on now to our last review of the games, which is Eternal Fury versus Warbringers B. Coach Sands, what did you see here? Because
Sinji, oh my gosh. Please calm down, man. I promise it's not gonna be that way. You don't have to touch the spawn doors. I promise.
in the first 2 maps, and I was like, first one, I was like, okay, you know, you don't really see that really on Busan. And then I see it on King's Row, and it's like, what are you doing up there, man? You're on a Ramatra. You're not on something like a Doomfist or a Winston. You're just on a Ramatra, regular Omnic form, just walking up slowly, and you somehow get away no problem.
I have no idea. That whole game. It just felt like Warbringers couldn't get their footing. But Eternal Fury came out and punched him in the mouth. Like that Busan game. Oh my gosh, they just like I said, they just couldn't get their footing. Warbringers didn't know what to do when Sinji was just in their backline, get a kill and then out. It was just like he was never there. It was like they died to a ghost. So
Yeah.
and Ronan as well. Ronan, taking those off angles, just putting tons of pressure on their backline, allowing Sinji to just do his job to a T. And it was, it was a fun one to watch because I feel like there are things that Eternal Fury could have done better to make it even quicker.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't like they played bad. So it was one of those where I was like, yeah, it was a 3-1, but I feel like it could have been a 3-0, but things go a little bit differently, especially on the route. It really could have even been a 3-2 come down to the wire. So it's one of those where I feel like they started making mistakes because of who they were playing against. But at the same time, like, you got to eliminate those most of the time.
I feel like also like Warbringers tried to like use that Sombra comp a lot towards the beginning, but then like you guys were talking about like Eternal Fury was just like running them down before like Thumper could get anywhere on the Sombra. Like Thumper was waiting, and then it was too late. They were like Eternal Fury was already in the back line, like waiting like there. So I feel like it was just a real big like tempo diff from Eternal Fury.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot of what I saw too, where the Sombra was never quite really in position and ready to make that, hack and really start off the fight. You had a bunch of people like mispositioned kind of weird. The Lucio was like right inside of Ramatra's face for a solid, 1.5 points on Saravasa. I think it's a lot of little things that I think can get better. I'm just a bit worried of if they'll be able to get better fast enough to catch up to other teams, because like everyone else is also going to be getting better.
I think they actually played really well on, like Warbringers did on that Junker Queen comp when they took Servasa. They played really well, like just keeping like the Tracer off the backline and like stopping that dive like pressure with the Doomfist, and also like waiting out like cooldowns and stuff from that to like not really just tank that, like face tank that dive and try to just eat it. So I think they played really well, and I think that kind of like shows like them in the right direction. I know it's still like a pretty scrappy fight, or like scrappy map, but I think they like showed us like signs of life there. They're not like, they definitely have it in them to improve.
All right. Does anyone have any other points they want to say about this matchup? All right, fantastic. Well, then we can get on to our main bit of business right now. We're going to be doing some good old early stage 1 predictions / power rankings here. So we have all 23 teams that are left. We already had one silly little team that was being a little goofball. They're out of the team. I think they're out of the tournament. It looks like I think they're trying to get a new one. I'm not sure if they're locked in quite yet. I can try to look at the rosters, just see if they are locked in. Otherwise, we'll see how that goes. So we have all the teams, and then basically what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to rank them all 1 to 23. We'll see how it works out. Okay, so just real quick, it looks like the team that was just added, Crusaders Red, they are not locked quite yet, but they have their whole 5 people there. Their average is good enough. I think they're just probably waiting on just a little bit. So I think they'll be ready for at least tomorrow, which is hype. All right. So where do you all want to start off? Do you want to start off at the bottom or the top?
I feel bad starting the bottom, so I feel like we're just calling out early bad team for no reason.
I was about to say,
I have a solution here.
I
I have a
feel like-
solution here if you want to hear it.
I also feel like that's the better way to do it, because if we start at the top, everyone's gonna hear the top 3 and then probably leave. So like,
and then leave. Yeah.
yeah, the whole bait thing. We gotta start from the bottom.
Also,
I feel like,
it's week
unfortunately.
1,
Yeah.
so like, if you're like, if it's like a
Tough
bad, if you're saying you're like, it's room for improvement. You know, it's first week, first match jitters. You know, anything can happen. So I don't think you have to worry about.
If anybody gets mad about it, they can blame it on me.
Fantastic.
He's a fall guy.
Hey, look, I only watched a couple of the games. If they get mad about it, just say, "Oh, that Bento guy doesn't. He doesn't know what he's talking about." It's all good.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right. So
We're fixed.
I do want to say one thing for the team that I think is probably going to be at the bottom. They didn't play this past week because they forfeited, and they tweeted out 2 days ago that they just had their first scrim. SR Bob.
Yeah.
I think it
It's
is.
like, this is one of those. They're gonna end up being like the best team somehow. Just have like the most
Ooh.
rough start,
Oh,
and
that
then
would
come
be-
out of nowhere and just
That would be
slap everyone.
that would be fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
Are you okay putting that at number 23?
That does seem fair to me. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
I would say that's probably gonna be.
You know what? If they
weird.
what if they make like the most amazing scrims this week? You know, like go off. But for
Yeah.
right now,
Right now, this is definitely, I think, pretty fair.
yeah.
All right. Now we have to do like 22 and all that fun stuff.
Would then the team that took the win from them? God, sorry, my cat skater just went off and she tore through my desk. The team that like took the win from them, would they be next since they still didn't? I mean, yeah, like they did win, but like, I guess like
haven't
put
played
them,
yet.
yeah, put them there.
I
like,
think that's
asterisk.
fair.
Just say
It's
we
probably
haven't,
fair.
haven't seen them play. Unfortunately, it's not their fault because the other team didn't show up. But
Yeah.
'cause, I mean, I feel like if we put any other team below them, that's just not
Yeah.
fair for
I
those
think that's
teams at
fair.
all.
Yeah, I think those are the two that we
But it's-
can't rank 'em.
For my power
I
ranking,
think
that's what I
that's-
did. I just put them both last, but with the asterisk saying they just didn't play.
Right. So that should be Gaslight Gatekeep greetings.
GG.
Routine.
That's it. We play tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get a better look, and hopefully they won't
Yeah.
be next.
Yeah,
round.
don't
we're
don't get
scoping
swept.
them out
That
for-
will look terrible.
Please don't have a name like that and be terrible. Please.
Oh my
I
gosh.
want to gas you up.
Please.
I want to be a fan. I want to be the #1 fan of your team. Please don't suck.
Yep. I'm in the same boat there. I really want to see what these guys can do. All right, now we got the 2 easy ones out of the way. Look to see who are the ones that got like 0-3'd or like 1-3'd sort of thing.
That's what I'm taking a look at here.
I think that's basically how I did my. I mean, I took the lazy way out. I ranked everyone based off did they 3-0 or get 0-3'd. I think the next
Mhm.
closest ones would be it's like Concordia, Ragnarok, Hella, Crusaders Red, but Crusaders Red is the team that just joined the right.
Yeah,
And then,
Crusaders Red just joined.
just joined
Based
So-
on the stat
And then-
line
Into F Inferno.
and having seen Ragnarok Thor play, because Clairvoyance rimmed them a couple times last season,
Mhm.
I think we can pretty safely put Crusaders Red there.
Okay. Crusaders Red
not-
hasn't played yet. Just
I was gonna
to make
say,
sure you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Oh,
So it was
yeah.
Silly Maxing that played, and then they got caught having a coach as one of their ringers or on an alt, and they still got 0-3'd. So I don't know how that
Super
happens,
silly.
but
That's
Super silly.
Hey.
Yeah, that
Hats
is
off
very
to you.
silly.
Yeah, okay.
But
they
I-
did
I-
silly max. My bad. Hey, I'm sorry to Crusaders Red. I told you I hadn't watched many of them. My bad.
so I just think we don't have them on here in general right now, either team, which I think is fair.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We stuck Gaslight Greetings on there, and they haven't played either. So
True. Let's put
we
a
can
quick
we can
little-
just fill out like the next couple with them and be like, "Look, this is like our gray area of like, well, you haven't really played yet." So
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Ragnarok Thor beat a team that doesn't exist anymore. So
Very true. So we can put a blank spot at 22 then, or fill in Crusaders Red.
I was gonna say we'd have to add a 24 because that would mean we have all 24
Yeah,
teams.
all 24.
Mhm.
There you go.
There we go. All right.
I know
looking at-
who I have at 21.
Who do you have at 21?
I had Need to Feed Inferno.
I also have them.
Simply because the tank play was so out of left field and a little like I said, he had a plan, but he didn't communicate it well to his team, so his team didn't know he had a plan. Or if they did have a plan and they did communicate it, it wasn't executed very well. So it felt like they couldn't get anything done. That's
Yeah.
the team that I'm going to worry about the most. They're going to have to catch up the most, making sure they get their team play down to a pat, and don't run into any struggles down the line. Like they need to work on team play big time.
There's two Into F Inferno, or Into F Ignite and Inferno. Okay, so we're talking about
Yeah.
Inferno.
We're talking about
Yes.
Inferno right now. That's fair. They're the ones that got 3-0'd by
Yeah.
3.5 or 3.5 or 7/2, however you want to describe it.
it's like a Kingdom Hearts title.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's fair. Like, obviously getting 3-0'd on stream, not fun, but also like it doesn't quite matter when the rest of your play just really isn't quite there right now.
Yeah, I think it was like it was a pretty heavy-handed win from 3.5, and I think
Mhm.
that puts them in the spot. Puts like N2F Inferno at the spot.
All right. So the other 0-3 teams we have are Ragnarok, Hella, and Skull and Cross Keys.
Let's see, we played. It was one that's like kind of the opposite of how I was saying with the Kappas. The Kappas were one step ahead of us. I felt like we were one step ahead of Skull and Cross Keys the whole time. The scoreboard shows a blowout, but I think Phoebe called it out. Some of the fights were kind of last second turns. So just based off that and me playing them, knowing like they were is a bit closer than the scoreboard would say, in my opinion.
Mhm.
If there's another 0-3 team, I'd say Skull and Cross Keys over the other 0-3
Yeah.
team, in my opinion.
I think that's pretty fair. The other 0-3 team is Ragnarok Hella. They, after like the first 2 points versus Aimless, they just honestly got blown out. So I'll have to agree with you there. Where I think like Hella is probably below them. Or Hella is probably, I would say, probably at 20. Yeah. Like their main play with Hella was, I believe they're the team that just like they played Zarya Reaper, and their entire strategy was just bubble the Reaper whenever he ults, bubble the Reaper when he shoots people, or Reaper TP's in, Wraith's immediately out, and gets bubbled.
Yeah.
So I would
like
probably have
when
to.
Overwatch 2 first came out.
Exactly. It's what everyone thought would happen, except now we know that that's not what you do.
It doesn't work. I mean, wasn't Bubble much larger than it was? Didn't they,
Yeah,
like,
it was a
revert
lot
that?
bigger
It
back then.
was.
But
Like
yeah,
twice the
I agree
size.
with that.
Mhm. So do you want to put Skull and Crosskeys next, or do you want to see if there's any other team that went like that got 3-1'd?
Most of the 3-1s I saw, like the team that won a map seemed to win pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like I saw a lot of like 2-0s on Control, and that team lost. I think it was just 2. But other than that, all the other 1-0s seem to be decently
All right.
better, I think.
Yeah. I'm fine putting Skull and Crosskeys here. Yeah. Like they had some good opportunities, but then you would see things like their soldiers all the way across the map shooting from like trying to be American Sniper, essentially, which doesn't quite work out when you're trying to hit a Lucio.
No, it doesn't. It was not. It was not. It was not.
Yeah.
It
was.
I'll play devil's advocate here and say that I'm kind of high on geometric.
Mhm.
So if there's anything, if we come back to one that's a 3-1 that we get to discussing about and say, hey, maybe we need to put this team a little bit lower, I think we should be a little forgiving to Skull and Cross Keys. Because I think we're not going to start talking about geometric until we start getting probably into the top 12, top 10, maybe top 8.
That's
I'm
so
pretty
high
high
for
on
us.
I can see that.
That's
I
a
can
huge
see that,
compliment. Heck yeah.
I like geometric. I don't know what to tell you. I liked them when I watched them last season. I like them this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like geometric. I think they're good.
Yeah, I also have them pretty high. My rankings are pretty already out there, so people
Okay, the
know where I
Skull and
rank them.
Crosskeys player starts going, yes, they're
Yes,
great.
yes. No.
Yes, they're very good. That's
Yes,
why we
they're
did
very
poorly.
good, please.
I also have geometric pretty high because at the end of the day, like you said, Phoebe, in your power rankings, our match easily could have been 2-0 us
Yeah.
going into Flashpoint, and then we got rolled on Flashpoint because I'm not even going to talk
Something
about
happened.
it. It was not good, but
Yeah.
it easily could have been 2-0 us, but we just like fumbled for no reason. There was times like where you said our soldier was off in Narnia doing something. I don't really know what he was doing, but he was doing something. And at the end of the day, I think Geometric is going to be a good team. So saying, okay, this team's bad because they got 3-0'd by a good team is a little rough because it wasn't like it was like, yeah, it was a blowout. I mean, both of the control points were 199. I think one of them was 197.
Yeah.
And then there was a 3-2 on Eichenwald. And then it was the stomping that was that flashpoint.
Yeah. Do you think that was just like a first week nerves thing? Like, how new is the team to this sort of play?
So we all have experience in competitive play. Most of us are from collegiate. One of us is not. That one has very little experience in any sort of competitive play. Other than that, I think it's just going to take some time meshing together the team because, like I said, we were both doing collegiate, so it's kind of hard for us to get good scrims in. We'd kind of have to do scrims here and there, and they were kind of spread out, and it was like, okay, we're not going to be able to scrim this week because we have collegiate stuff going on. But other than that, I think it's just now collegiate is pretty much wrapped up. I think one of our teams has one game left, at least at a minimum. Other than that, I think like now that we're starting to get more scrims in and more consistent in our schedule, I think it's going to be coming together a little bit better. So,
all right. Then we can go ahead and go on to the next group of teams, which are all -2. There are two to me that stick out here as I think being probably the weakest of that group, and that's Ignite and Warbringers B. Honestly, what about you guys? Because I wanted to see what you guys think of what do you think is probably next step here?
I had Warbringers B at 20. They just they couldn't get off their feet, but there's got to be a point where you've got to recognize that and be like, okay, we need to just do a full reset. Like, let's calm ourselves down. Let's try to make sure we get that done. And then they did on Saravasa, but it also kind of felt like Eternal Fury was kind of playing down to their competition a little bit, because there were times that they kind of did stuff that was a little bit like, okay, why are you doing this here?
Yeah.
So if I had to be like low on any team right now, I think Warbringers Big is the one that I'm going to be low on, just because, like I said, I was having to watch that game anyway because we play Eternal Fury next week. So it was just, there was questionable decisions by Eternal Fury, and they still won fights.
Right.
So that to me kind of shows, okay, they need to work on their team planning. They need to make sure when the fight does get scrappy, they're not losing it because of dumb mistakes. Because you're going to have that. I mean, we did it in our match against Geometric. That was part of the reason we lost so many times, was because we had something dumb happen right as the fight got scrappy.
Right.
But yeah, like I feel like just the pace that, like they just got outpaced so hard too by oh my god, I can't remember their name even though I just hit it. By Eternal Fury.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest thing, that just like the pace was so high that they just like did not look ready for it at all on any of the other maps besides Servasa.
All right. So if the rest of y'all are in agreement, we can probably put Warbringers B over in that 18 slot.
Yeah.
17 here. I know I already said I think this is a pretty prime spot for Ignite right now.
Yeah, I'd say Ignite or Concordia Crimson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair too. Concordia is right in that sort of group as well.
Like I say, like they did take a map off Quackers, who I think are kind of good, but it was 3-2. So I'll admit I didn't watch that match. I don't know how close that 3-2 was, but the rest looked like blowouts from what I can see. So they might be another of the bottom ones that lost 3-1.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I got to watch 3 of the maps. I didn't get to watch all of them. But the 3 that I did watch, I watched the first 3. The Kings Row game just looked like Raging Quackers just didn't know what they wanted to do. Once they got beat on first, it was kind of like, okay, what do we do from here? And then they talked about what they wanted to do, and then they didn't do it, and it's like, okay, what do we want to do from here? And they talked about it, and then they didn't do it, and it's like, okay, what do we want to do from here? And it just kind of kept backing up and backing up and backing up.
That's it, yeah. That's like, I'll admit, like we just scrimmed them. That does seem that happened, and that map was, I think, a huge fluke for them to lose. So
Yeah.
I think if they were together, Quackers should have probably 3-0'd that fairly easily.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I'm actually pretty okay with putting Concordia Crimson at 17, because I also I'm not sure if any of you saw, but the player on Ignite, Sorry, is legitimately such a scary tracer. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Probably the only reason they were like in so many of those maps whatsoever and winning fights was like legit in my head. It was like the only player that I watched that was like, this player's doing disgusting stuff, and I feel like I should say sorry to whoever they're playing against, because that was just legitimately terrifying.
Yeah, I also felt like there was a lot of. I only watched like a little bit of the M2F and Ares map, but I feel like there's a lot of fights where Ares got like pushed into like really scrappy territory where it was like a 2v2, and with like a Lucio and a Reaper versus like someone else, and I feel like that probably puts what's it called, these guys a little higher.
Yeah. All right. So do we want to put Ignite at 16 then?
Yeah, I think that's the
probably
best place
good.
for him. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, Sorry was just insane. I mean, even I got to watch like the full Kings Row map. I watched, and then I watched the first one, Busan. Sorry, I blanked. And in both of those, man, Sorry was just going off.
Oh yeah.
Off. I mean, goodness.
Yeah. All right then. Looking at number 15, sort of like right below that midway point. So that group, I think there are a bunch of teams that are like pretty close together, honestly. Actually, not really. I kind of just have one team that I think just like fits that spot pretty well. I think Maelstrom fits pretty well at 15 right now. They're just kind of mid, but in a way that just like there isn't anything like super bad or super good about them, you know?
Yeah, like Busan and like they won Busan and then New York City was 3-2, but
Mhm.
Kings Row and like or no, they didn't win New York City, but they like got 2 points in New York City. Like I feel like they show some signs of life, but then like on other maps it's just like well, or like Warhawks just kind of like ran them over a little bit. Like
Yeah. All right. I'm down to put Maelstrom here if y'all are okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah, Maelstrom definitely fits that spot the best.
They're at my 15 as well, so that's perfect for me.
All right. 14th. What do you all have here? Because I think this is where we're gonna have some mix-ups for how like where people are as of right now versus where we think they're gonna be end of stage. You know.
yeah,
So I want to hear what you guys think here because I think I have some teams rated here probably lower than what you guys have, especially Mellow and Churd. I think one of these teams I have quite a bit lower than what you think.
At 13 and 14, I have Poseidon and Jubix, or my 13 and 14.
You have
In that
Poseidon
order?
that low?
I will say I like right before this, I got my power rankings messed up at the top of the team, so I might have a major mistake. But I don't think Poseidon was one of the mistakes. It was in the top 5. I had a major mess up.
Okay, we got
I
way
don't
different,
think
we got
Poseidon
way
was-
different power rankings, me and you.
I'm trying to look back. I will say like I
No,
did
that's
this,
fine. Hey,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's what we're having this for. That's good.
I'll say like I also just went like I kind of took the lazy way out. Just went off win loss 3-0, 3-1, 3-2.
Mhm.
I think Poseidon is definitely higher than that.
Better. Okay. I won't
You
argue.
gonna
yeah.
go nuts when you hear where I have them.
Oh boy, I have them a bit higher too. I think so my 13 14, I have Jubix at 13 and then I have Koala Kings at 14 right now.
Yep. There you go.
I
I know that's going to be heresy to you, Giamet, to
Well,
you Mellow, because
I
you have
have-
Koala Kings really high right now, I think.
I'll admit I have them at 2 right now because I'll admit it's a lot of bias just because like I know those guys very well. I'm pretty good friends with them, but I still think they'll be really good. But I won't argue too much. I'm pretty sure 15 is way too low for them, or 14 wherever we're at. Like I'd argue for at least 4 more spots above this.
I can work with that. What do you think about
Does-
Jubix here then?
Jubix would probably be the next best.
I'm
I'll
like,
say.
if we're saying not no to Koala Kings, probably like maybe Aries as well. So like in that mix. For those of you
I don't
wondering,
know.
Lord have
I
mercy.
mean, yeah, I don't know where I have.
Okay.
I think Jubix is okay around here because I feel
Mhm.
like they have a lot of potential, but there was a lot of mistakes that didn't get them the win when they like could have, and I feel like that's kind of what's holding them back because like they all looked mechanically very sound, but like weren't like as aggressive or fast enough as they needed to be to win those fights. So I think that's kind of like in a territory we are where like they're showing signs of life, but they aren't like quite there yet. You know, like they haven't like gotten all the way where they need to be.
All right. Speaking. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So yeah, no, we were starting to talk about Aries.
Mhm.
So I'll save it for when we actually talk about Aries. I'll save it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go off on a tangent.
All right, it's okay. We can put Jubix here because I think now is where we're really going to have a lot of differing opinions. Because we're really getting close to that like top half. So who do you all have at 13?
This is where I've got Poseidon, but it sounds like all of you are a bit higher than I am. So for me, not Poseidon at 13. I'll say.
I feel like Poseidon was in like a similar situation to Jubix, but their team play was better. Like I
Mhm.
feel like they weren't as aggressive as they need to with Phantom Wind and some things like that, but like they still were better. I think really what it comes down to is that I felt like they were kind of conservative with their ults. Like they didn't use them when they probably could have used them to win, and I feel like that they still like had more of an idea of what they wanted to do, and were like putting the pressure up when they needed to. Maybe just like a hair too short on what they needed to be doing to really push Phantom Wind further, because it was a 3-2, right? Yeah, 3-2 in
Yeah.
favor of Phantom Wind. So like Poseidon was close, and they were really pushing. Like they got some wins when they needed to, but so I feel like they're just like a hair short.
That's fair. Anyone else have any opinions here? Because I am honestly a bit stuck here. I think we're all kind of disagreeing. Has anyone not voiced their opinion of who they think's 13 right now? Okay. All right.
Is it who are the main two teams that we're deciding between?
There's a really main two. We're just
Yeah, we're just kind of
There's quite a
talking
few.
right now. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's like each of us have a different one, honestly, right now.
What are some other ones that you guys have? Because like I know Mela is Poseidon here. I'm not sure like who I'd put here either.
I have Ares here. Sorry, I had Jubix at 13, but I have Ares right above them at 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ares probably be my next vote for it.
I got Aries at 13 as well, and just based off of what I saw watching that match, it was kind of one of those things where the team play was good, but sometimes they would get beat anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you can get it down to where you don't have that happen anymore, you'll jump up. But until you can prove that, it's hard to put you anywhere above like 10 because you are going to lose fights that you should have won.
I will say like I like Ares. Like I feel like their team play was probably their biggest strong suit because they won a lot of fights that were really scrappy. Like like they really pulled those out, and so I feel like that's a really strong suit from them right now. But to have to like win so many scrappy fights is a little concerning.
Right. Okay. Then we can put Ares here at 13. Move on to 12. Finally in the top half here. Still in sort of that middle spaghetti jumble right now.
Yeah.
So who do you all have at 12? Or at least right above Ares, sort of in that range. Right now, and this is going to be like probably way too low compared to where you guys have them. This is where I have 3.5.
I don't know. I can kind of agree with that. Like it was a really strong showing from them, but there was a lot of mistakes that I feel like a better team could jump on, and also like not let them get away with that weird comps they were running. Like especially in Busan, Keigo died first a lot, like a lot, and that's something that like if a better team get the hold of, they're just gonna kind of run that team over. You know, and there's a lot of times that their Mercy bailed them out with a lot of reses, and like a better team isn't gonna let like them get the res off when like during like the middle of a fight. So I feel like this is a pretty good place to put 3.5, because like while they were really good, I feel like they didn't really show a lot of like they really weren't like they just kind of knew how to play Mercy comps, which is like fine because they won. But
yeah.
They played the thing they were good at and they went with it.
Yeah.
And you know, if it keeps working next week, then great. We can talk about moving them up, but right now I feel like they kind of need to show a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's
Bento,
kind of
Sans, what do you
that's
think?
that's kind of where I'm at with them. Is they ran a super unconventional, just kind of out of the blue comp, and they won with it. It's what they're used to. But at the same time, eventually somebody's going to see that and be like, okay, we know how to beat that. And when that happens, it's going to get ugly. Because if they don't know how to switch to anything else, if you're kind of stuck on that, you're kind of stuck on that. I have 3.5 as 12 as well, just because that's, from what I saw, that's the best place to put them until I see them knock off a strong, like a team that I think is like super strong, going to be top contender. I can't put them much higher than that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if they start playing like they get, 2 strong 3-0s right in a row, it's like, okay, gotta
Yeah,
respect them a little bit more now.
Yeah, like if
I wanna
they
see-
if they get another 3-0, who are they against this week? Let me see. They are against Concordia Crimson. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
No.
I want to
Oh.
see them beat a strong Kiriko team with their Anacomp,
Yeah.
and then I'll start talking about it.
I'll say like
Yeah,
I play a
then
lot
we'll
of Mercy
start talking
too,
about
and Mercy feels. I don't say impossible. You can make it work, but very
it's
hard.
very hard.
Yeah, I will say like with that though, if they do keep throwing with the Mercy, give them more favor towards the ones because they're running a much harder comp in most everyone's opinion, and they're making it work.
They're running worse supports than they're. If they start,
I
winning it, I mean,
I feel like even if they if they just clean up a little bit, like like losing their flex support early, or like getting some getting picked here and there, or, like, because they played really well into their strengths, but like if they just keep getting better at it, then I think they'll be a really scary team, because if not, something will like anyone's really gonna have scrimmed against or be ready to like play into.
All right. We can go ahead, put 3.5 here at 12 then. Going into 11th place. Sans, what do you think here? I'm
So
gonna just throw it directly at you this time.
this is where I had Jubix, because
Oh, okay.
they played a really strong Kappa's team and kind of held their own.
Mhm.
And they played strong. It was just minor mistakes that cost them a lot of their fights. But at the same time, you still lost 3-1. So
Yeah.
the other team that I could see here is either Koala Kings or Phantom Wind. Both of those teams played really good, and I feel like are going to do well in the long run, but are not Phantom Wind, Poseidon. Sorry, I said that backwards. Poseidon. They played really well in their match, and I feel like they're going to have strong showings. But at the same time, I have a feeling that if they run into a team they really struggle with, they're going to have they're going to have to adapt. And if they don't adapt, it's going to look bad on them. Either way, though, I think probably Poseidon is the team to put there, just because their main thing is like Foxard went crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Foxard played insane, and the rest of their team was kind of middle of the pack. Whereas I feel like Koala Kings has a strong team built, and I feel like they're just going to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I agree with Poseidon here, because I feel like they did adapt a little bit with that, like, hold on, I might be thinking of numbers, but I feel like they did adapt a little bit, but it wasn't like enough. I don't know, like
Mhm.
and I feel like they kind of have like some of the stuff we're talking about, Jubix, in areas where like they're kind of like in between, where they're like mechanically good and like their team plays all right, but it wasn't enough to get the job done.
Okay.
so I cannot, in good conscience, let us put Poseidon. I think Phantom
Well-
Wind are the best team,
Really?
number one, and they took them literally to map 5. I cannot let us put Poseidon.
Well then, why not Jubix then? I think Jubix sounds like the next everyone's.
Well, Jubix is we already
Jubix
played.
is
Jubix is already
Oh, we
down
did.
here.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Let
we did.
me
I missed that.
cook a little bit here. I call a little bit of the Team Toucans and Koala Kings game. I think Team Toucans is really good. I think for now we can put Koala Kings here because I think it can literally just be chalked up to first game jitters. I think they came out, they probably expected to win. I think everybody expected them to win. I think they came out expecting to win. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not in their Discord. I don't know what they've done. May not have done the homework that they needed to do on their team. If you give them another week, I think that game could go a very different way.
All right.
Yeah, I
think
agree
for
with that.
now,
That's
we
something
put
I'm
Koala
okay
Kings.
with.
Yeah, I am alright with that.
Putting Koala.
I know how good Koala Kings have been historically. I am very willing to move them up. All they gotta do is win a game.
All right.
All they gotta do for me.
All right.
Fair enough.
I'll let it go. I'll admit it.
They win
I
next
heard
game.
we'll
Hey,
let it go.
they
We'll
win
let
next
it go.
game. They're top 10. Okay?
That's probably the
Do
only
it.
team that they're gonna lose to, I think, for the next. Unless they play us, which hopefully I don't know how well we'll do against them, but
We
don't
have to
think
beat
they're
them.
gonna-
We
I know. They're the only team I care about beating right now, honestly.
we have
You guys
to.
are on Geo, right?
Yeah. The marsupial Geo beef goes like
Goes
all the way
forever.
back to League Zero Season 2. Like it's been years in the making. We have to beat the Koala Kings. We can lose every
Yeah.
other map, but the match as long as we beat Koala Kings.
The Koala Kings.
Okay.
it's
All that matters.
unbelievable.
That's awesome.
All right. Going into our top 10 now.
Top 10.
Okay. So 9 and 10 are where I have Phantom Wind and Poseidon, and I know that I'm gonna. It's like I can already hear an aneurysm coming out from having them that low from Bento.
It's okay. Hey, I get it. I understand.
The main
Someone
thing to
has the
see
sauce.
for me right now is week 1. It was a super even match, like you said. I think Phantom Wind were a really good team last season. I feel like they're playing a lot slower right now. They lost. I think Veneno was their better DPS, and they lost them. And then they also lost their their main 2 supports as well. That were also really good. So that's why I kind of have them lower. Poseidon, I try not to hype them up because every year it's like they start off super well and then it just turns into Foxard just breaking his back every single season. Carrying them up to, close to champ bracket each time. And he finally has a team this year, which is hype as all hell. So let's hear from the other 3 of you, or 4 of you. Who do you think should go at 9 and 10 right now?
So this is the way I look at the top 10. In any tier list that I do. If I place you top 5, I think any of you can beat one another on any given day. One is the most likely to win. If you're top 10, I think number 10 can beat number 1, and all it takes is some prep. Anything below that, usually number 1 is going to just knock it out. I'm willing to put Poseidon down here. I'm willing to say they had an incredible game, played out of their absolute minds. Like you said, they had a pop-off performance, and they performed against a team that I think is the best. I'm more than willing to put them there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I think Poseidon or Phantom Wind are my next 2 for these slots.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think Poseidon probably more than a Phantom Win, because Phantom Win, my concern with Phantom Win is they looked a little caught off guard sometimes, but for the most part, I feel like they were although it was a close match, they were pretty in control of it.
Mhm.
And Poseidon did play well, but just they weren't giving me enough, they could have got there, but they didn't go the extra couple inches that they needed to cross the finish line.
Okay. So we can put Poseidon here then. Now we're stuck on number 9. So do we want to go the route of these 2 played very even, they're going to be even, or do we want to go with the Phantom Wind played worse than how you expected them to play? And go off of what you expect them to play.
I don't think Phantom Wind played worse. I think Poseidon played better.
Okay.
I can agree with that like to a degree. I feel like I don't know if it's like the best team out of all, but I feel like they're like a bit better than Poseidon. Like
Mhm.
that, like I felt like they were mostly in control of the match.
Okay.
Like, they got a little surprised, especially at the start of King's Row, where they were just on the Diva comp and got smacked in the face by Ramontra. But then they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Tim
okay."
Bell.
And then like, but I feel like for the most part they were in control of that match.
Okay. Then who would you like?
Brings the question.
Yeah.
Who are
Yeah.
next?
But what are some?
We
other-
haven't talked about him yet. I'll throw him out. Aimless. Throw him out.
That's who I have it. That's who I have at 9.
That's fair. That's fair. I've scrimmed them once, and I thought that they were pretty solid, and that kind of tracks how they're already top 10. They did get a 3-0, but that was also against the team that we have ranked 20th. So I think this,
Yeah.
like, I had them ranked higher. I see that, or I think I ranked them 8th. I think 9 is a really good spot for them as well.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot for them.
Yeah, that's about where
Alright.
I've got them as well.
Especially they got like a pretty like handy win and like
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Who do we want to go for top 8 then? This would be essentially all the teams that are left are what we would expect to be in the champ bracket of like if we just went off how good these teams are. Who do you all have at number 8 right here?
Or Hawks. Not super
that's
familiar
solid.
with the roster. Hey, don't let me be the only person to say it. Hey,
No,
come on.
that's solid.
I'm thinking. That's all I started.
Who did they play? That's who I'm trying to find right now.
They played Maelstrom.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's
So-
why I'm.
Yeah, ooh, that's fair. That's fair.
It's
I'm
number
fair playing them
15.
8.
That's a solid.
Yeah, and I feel like
The worst one.
It was
Like,
kind of
getting-
messy too.
yeah, little messy. Like there's some like some close maps, but also some not close maps. I feel like that's a good like start to round out the top 8.
All right, let's put them in. Warhawks. Warhawks in at number 8. Going to top 7 right now. This is where I had Raging Quackers. I haven't scrimmed to the end against them yet, so I don't know how good they are. Other than what I've seen.
Say they're
I
definitely
know
better
that
than-
I'm really high on their DPS line and on their tank. I'm not very high on their support line.
They were very good. We just played them.
They're very
like,
good?
Yeah,
All right.
like definitely not 7.
I think a
Rob
little
knows
higher
what
than
he
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to put Fury there?
I think we could put Fury there because we did not rate Warbringers very highly. Like,
Oh,
Alright.
yeah, that's
Well-
true, actually.
That's true. Yeah.
and then like it was still they played really really well, but they still lost that one map. So like,
Okay, yeah.
I feel like that's a good spot to put.
I'm sorry to the two geometric people in the room. This is where I have y'all
Yeah,
And
I
that's
have
not-
you guys at at 7 or
I-
6.
at 7, and that's not a shot at y'all. That is a shot at. I feel like we played really bad and still almost got 2-0. So I'm a little low.
Yeah.
But at
I-
the same time, you get another win, and I have you at like top 4
Yeah.
easy. That's not even a conversation.
I would say
Yeah. Yeah.
right now at 6. Like I've got us at 6 right now, so
Yeah.
Got you guys at
if
six.
that's
Yeah.
the next purpose, I
I'm
think
okay
6 is-
putting-
6 is fair.
Y'all at 6, and we can put Fury at 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I had y'all. That was my 6 and 7 was Fury and Geometric.
Mm-hmm.
That works for us.
So that leaves our top 5 teams that we have to
Five
choose
Kappas.
between. I'll just list them off real quick of who we have to have as our top 5. Ragnarok Thor, Kappas, Team Toucans, Raging Quackers. Did I miss one? Oh, and Phantom Wind.
I
got Kappas at 5.
I would say Kappa's over Phantom Win, in my opinion. at least between those two. I don't know if they're 4 and 5, but I'm pretty sure Kappas are better than Phantom Win.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from Phantom Win, but I think the other teams are better.
In my opinion, Phantom Win's at 5.
I've gotten them up to 5. I'll give up the Phantom Win copium. I've gotten
Yeah.
them up
All
to
right.
5.
All right, that's fair. All right, we can put Phantom Wind at 5. I think this is a really good spot for them. I'm also fine putting Kappas at 4. I think it showed that like we got decimated on Flashpoint, and for a 3-1 after getting like pretty steamrolled on there.
I will say, to back you up, I know in our scrim, I feel like Flashpoint's the only one we ever. That's our only easy win. I feel like against y'all. So like 3-1, but you lost the map that you almost feel like you're gonna lose in a way. So I don't
Yeah.
know how much in my opinion, I didn't weigh that one map loss very heavy against
But-
y'all.
Here's how I view that. If you have a map type you know you're gonna drop,
Hmm.
it's hard for me to rate you in the top 3.
But if only
Otherwise, if
once,
you can get Flashpoint down, Caps,
yeah.
Hmm.
effortless.
I feel like it's a good spot for you guys because I feel like what's it called? I feel like Jubix is like one of the higher rated teams that like it's like kind of like a start of the higher end, and like they had some moments, but I feel like you guys still were pretty in control except Servasa. Like I don't think it wasn't much of like it may look like a bit of a nail biter like on paper, but I don't really think it was.
Yeah, like I think the main reason why Kings Row looked as close as it did is because I'll take the blame on the overtime where I was just like in a bad position and I
I
realized
didn't want to
it.
bring it up, but
I realized it. I realized it. If you listen back to the person that was streaming it, like immediately after it happened, is like I knew I shouldn't have been there, and I was like trying to get back, and I got caught out. Like I know that was terrible position because everyone else was positioned back, and I was trying to hold that one rooftop solo as a Lucio, and I'm not that kind of guy.
You're not that guy, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm okay putting Kappas at 4. Personally, I would put them above Raging Quackers, but I haven't played them yet, and I trust you guys that they're really good, so we can put Kappas at 4 here.
We have Ragnarok, Thor, Quackers, and Toucans left, right?
The other thing I do want to say, Ragnarok Thor got a 3-0 over a team that subbed their coach in, but also the rest of the team didn't look super good either. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think, at least in my opinion, we've let Ragnarok Thor go a little bit too high. Not by much,
Yeah.
but like I think they definitely need to be the third slot behind
Mhm.
Quackers and Toucans.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the best bet is putting Ragnarok there, just because to me they beat a team that had their coach, like you said, and the rest of the team didn't look good, but they still 3-0'd, which is kind of like, okay, you still played good, even though the rest of the team didn't look very good. You still played good.
Yeah.
But
Bubba, swap Thor and
Swap
Quackers.
Thor and-
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor's at 3.
And then
Yeah,
Green-
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
in the top
okay with
two,
that.
I have either of them.
Yeah, I'm okay with either of those at the top 2.
Yeah, we just played Quackers and well, they were really good. And Team Toucans looked really good against KK, and like KK is a team full of veteran players that are like all really good, and so I think to come out and like show like against them, especially like this early, is like a really strong showing from them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right. So then we can go on to the second half of this, which is our Preds for who wins each of these 4 groups. So we will go over our first group, which is going to be the Orem group, which is 3.5, Kappas, Raging Quackers, Concordia Crimson, Jubix Cubed, and Need to Feed Inferno. do we just want to go down the line real quickly, or what do y'all want to do?
Yeah, we can just go down like the line, and then if it's like gets real crazy, we can talk about it. But
Yeah. I think I'll get mine out of the way just because I think I have to. I'm gonna pred Kappa's coming out on top because it is my team. I think we can beat Quackers. We're gonna find out this week anyways if we do. I think that's gonna be like the big matchup of who comes out on top is gonna be off that.
I also am gonna pred you guys because I think Quacker's really good, but we've played you guys a bunch, and I think you guys are in a great spot to win the group. I also predicted Kappas. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Looks
All
like
right,
we're gonna have
Kappa?
a streak of green because I'm voting Kappas too.
Oh my gosh, y'all flatter me.
Oof. Based off recency bias, I think I'm going with Quackers. Quackers. I feel like I say that wrong every time. They're
You're saying a soft R there.
Well, yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to like.
You're trying not to get demonetized on Twitch
Yeah.
right now.
But no, their team just felt. It's like Kappas were a step ahead of us. They seemed like 2 or 3 steps ahead. And granted, like we played y'all a bit more than we've only scrimmed them once. And it was just today. So like maybe they had a good day with a bad day. I'm hoping that's just what it is. But they seemed like I'll admit they're one of the top teams in my opinion now.
Mhm.
I'm going with the Quackers as well. Well, I mean, we're gonna find out this week, but I feel like even if they lose to the Kappas, there's a good shot they can still win. Just because I feel like if, like you said, if you have a mode that you know you're gonna lose,
Yeah.
that's a little rough.
Yeah,
you
that's
don't-
fair.
You don't want to have that, and even if they lose to y'all, I feel like it's gonna come down to like both of y'all are 5-1, and if they hold the tiebreaker, they hold the tiebreaker.
Mhm.
If they don't, they're gonna come in second. So.
All right. Going into our next group, Azure. This is going to be Gaslight, Gatekeep, Greetings, Geometric, Eternal Fury, Warbringers B, Skull and Cross Keys, and SR Bob. We can start off with. I'll start off this one again. I have Eternal Fury here. I'm sorry, Geo. I'm sorry, Mello. I'm sorry, Churd. I'm really high on Ronin right now, and if it was just a little bit cleaner this past week from Geo, I would have them winning the group. But as right now, I just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna pred us because, we.
No, yeah.
I'm main at a, I'm on the team, so.
Contractually obligated, of
yeah,
course.
contractually obligated, but
It's
we've
right
been
here in my script.
we've been putting our nose to the grindstone, so I feel like, we've been working hard to try to clean up all this stuff. So I'm gonna pred us.
All right.
I'm going Geometric. I've said I like Geometric. I think they're a great team.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm not just trying to pander to the 2 Geometric players because I think they're going to come at me with hammers. I
say-
think Geometric's a good team,
It kind of sucks that we didn't see the other 2 teams in the division. So like technically we're just rating us out of 4 teams.
Hey,
like, I
GGG.
put us.
About
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game tomorrow. Yeah, I put us as well for Geo. I'll admit a little bit biased. At the same time, we've only seen one other match in our division, so it's just hard to go off of anything else.
Yeah. Bubba, I saw that. Bubba. All right, Sans.
I'm sorry, Geometric. I'm going Eternal Fury. I think Shinji looked really, really good. I think Ronin looked really, really good. And I think when you all face each other, it's going to be a battle. But again, we just played you, and you all made a lot of little mistakes that could have costed you, but so did we. So it was like y'all won by default because our mistakes were worse. And it's hard for me to shake that. So I think Eternal Fury, when it comes to it, when you all face each other, it's going to be like 3-2, and Eternal Fury is going to take it, and then they're going to have the tiebreaker. So
That's fair.
All right.
Also, I just love that we have, at least so far, out of 2 divisions, we're split 3 and 2. There's no
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 sweep yet.
Honestly, I think that might change in this next group. I think there are 3 teams here that are really good in Jasper. So the 6 teams are Ares, Crimson Crusaders, who just joined. We don't know anything about them yet. Need to Feed Ignite, Phantom Wind, Poseidon, and Ragnarok Thor. I am really split right now. I genuinely do not know if someone else would like to start. Because like I am
Already
genuinely
know.
really stuck here between 3 teams.
Let's say I went with Ragnarok Thor because I believe Ragnarok has, just as like an org, whatever, has been around for a while. So I'm trusting the better, better environment, better coaches, better tools around them, and they did win their match. Didn't they win like 3-0 too? I think.
They did win 3-0.
3-0. So yeah, I think I just have them. It's just week 1, so a lot can change. But that's who I have, at least from that group, number
They
1
did
so
win
far.
against a silly team too, though. So, like,
Was the very silly team.
but I'm gonna pick Phantom Wind, because they looked really strong. I feel like, week 1 maybe some first match jitters, but if they kind of steady the ship a bit, I think they'll be in a great spot to win the group.
All right. Should we go to you, Bento? I think we know who you're
You
gonna
already
pick.
know who I'm gonna say, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna say Phantom Wind.
You already know what I'm about to say. I think Phantom take it. I think that Ragnarok Thor is going to push them very hard. I'm high on Thor too, but I'm on the Phantom Wind train right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Phantom Wind Thor and Thor Poseidon also both went to 5 games. I would not be surprised in the slightest. Sans, what about you?
Oh, this is so tough.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I like Ragnarok Thor looked really good, but so did Phantom Wind. And Phantom Wind, I feel like if they just keep their momentum, beating Poseidon, they beat a good team already. So
Yep.
beating Poseidon's huge. Ragnarok Thor has played the silly team, so it's hard to judge them. I'm gonna go Phantom Wind just because I feel like they're gonna have the better shot of securing their place winning, rather than like, okay, it comes down to the wire. These 3 teams are all at the top. They play each other week 5. I feel like Phantom Wind, they're gonna be 3-0 heading into week 4, and it's gonna be like, okay, well, they've pretty much got it locked up by that point.
I'm still really split here. I will go so we can keep the 3-2 split going. I'm gonna go Ragnarok Thor here. I think Hatter, they're like mainly like an Echo player, is really good. The support line is probably like top 3, probably top 4 at least. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ragnarok Thor for leading Jasper. And then our last one is going to be the Indigo group, which is going to be Aimless Esports, Team Toucans, Koala Kings, UWW Warhawks, Ragnarok Hella, and Maelstrom. I'm a bit split here, but I will probably be the person deviating from the rest of you, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think it will be I think it's gonna be Warhawks. That's gonna be my hot take for the night.
That was a hot take.
Wow.
I thought it was, because we just ranked them relatively lower compared to.
Yeah, I agree that is kind of a hot take. I was not expecting that.
We like some spice here. We like our 3-2 splits, but we also like a little bit of spice sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd save it to last one to spice it up, but
Yeah, I'm ready to be completely alone on this. Like, I'm okay with that right now.
I know we ranked Team Toucans number 1 this week, but I think at the end of the day, I think Koala Kings is gonna pull out the group win. They're a really good team, and I know a lot of those players, and I just don't see them not winning the group.
All right.
So yeah, that's who I'm gonna go with.
All right. Churd going with Koala Kings. Bento.
be honest, I have to say the same. I have to go Koala Kings as well. They
Oh wow.
Oh
I've
my
seen-
gosh.
I mean, I've just seen that team historically. They're gonna take that loss to Team Toucans. They're gonna run with it. I think if there's two that's gonna be, it's Team Toucans or it's gonna be. And I
Okay.
think Koala Kings are more than capable of coming back and winning this. I don't think that they may not win the actual tournament, but I think they can
Yeah.
take state victory.
All right. That's fair. Mellow.
I did not think Koala was gonna take a majority, but yeah, I've got them as well. That one loss, like this is the week one. I think Koala just has the players have played this quite a bit. I think they're gonna be just fine after this week.
All right. Sans.
Crazy. We're gonna have a 3-2 split anyway. I'm going with the
Wow.
Warhawks.
What?
I'm going with the
Wow.
Warhawks. I had them,
Okay. All
I
right.
had them ranked at like 4 in my
Yeah,
power.
you did, didn't you?
Bro, I had them
at
ranked.
4.
I had them ranked at 5. You can literally like the list that we pulled from to making this, like that's literally just like the order that I had all the teams in. Like I had them 5. But that is wild. We ranked them first. None of us think they're winning this stage. That is wild. That is wild.
Look, let me just say, just in other tournaments I've seen, right? You
Hmm.
can rank a team number 1. A team can be the best if you,
But-
like this victory against them, you can rest on your laurels and you will lose the stage off of it.
I feel
will-
like there's plenty of time for Team Toucans to prove us wrong, But just-
Absolutely.
but just historically knowing, especially that Nev is playing on the team, is like a real difference maker for what I think that team is gonna like be. So
I know
that's-
about
that-
Naveen.
And I'll
that's
say
my,
also
that's
like
my take on it.
our rank 1 power rankings. That's how we see them like right now. Whereas this is who we see winning the group, which is like 5 games later. So we're
Yeah.
assuming over the course of 5 games, Koala will be better than Toucans were in just this 1 week.
All
That's
right.
not even accounting for scrims and anything they may do in between.
Okay. So just to recap, for our 4, we have a 3-2 split in all of them. We have in Orem, Kappa's winning, Raging Quackers with 2 votes, Kappa's with 3, Azure Geometric with 3, Eternal Fury with 2, Jasper Phantom Wind taking that group with Ragnarok Thor with 2 votes on that, and in Indigo, Koala Kings ranked with 3 votes for them, and then Warhawks with 2. And then I believe we're now going to be going into our last section here, which is going to be printing what we call our games to watch. This is going to be 4 to 5. I believe it's just for this week. Let me try to pull up. Yep, it's just going to be for this week. It's always going to include the featured match as well. And this is all just blind who we think is going to win and the score as well. So going into our first one is going to be the featured matchup, which is going to be tomorrow at 9 p.m. I want to
Yep,
say
9 p.m.
At this very Twitch channel, Tranquility GG with the Twitch.tv in front of it. Maelstrom versus Team Toucans. Bird, my guy,
Yeah.
would you like to explain?
What did I put?
You put Maelstrom.
Did I? I feel like that was an accident. I did not mean to put them.
Okay.
Okay, I
Okay.
just forgot to type that I meant Toucans. I meant 3-0 Toucans. Yes, please. I think Toucans is gonna 3-0. I
He
think
was actually super high on Maelstrom, and then saw all of us talk about it, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
He's
I'm
like,
gonna claim
"Fuck."
the."
Yeah.
Actually,
no,
I picked the wrong team.
yeah, no, I just typed it in wrong to Bubba. Sorry, Maelstrom, but I think Team Toucans is gonna 3-0 you guys. They played really well tonight, and I just think they're the better team across the board.
All right. Yeah, I gotta say, pretty much agree there. Team Toucans just look like the better team compared to the two of them, especially it being Maelstrom not too high right now. They really need to like get back on their feet after that loss last week. Fair enough. we can go into our next prediction, which is going to be Kappas versus Raging Quackers, what we think is going to be the deciding matchup primarily for this first group. And all right, this is fair. I think this is fair. I had to throw in the 3-0 because I am on Kappas.
Fair,
Even
fair.
though we'll see if we break our Flashpoint curse, but I want to hear the rest of y'all's thoughts.
I honestly wouldn't mind. So I made this pred before our scrim.
Mhm.
I'll swap, be the odd one out, and go 3-2 Quackers on this
Alright.
one. I'm hoping, from what I know, this match should be very, 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 very good. I'm gonna try to watch it. Hopefully, our game ends soon, so I can watch this one. I think it's gonna be a fun match, either way.
Yeah, I playing what's it called, playing Quackers today. It doesn't change my like spread by that much, but I think it's gonna be a tough match for you guys. But you guys showed off a lot of flexibility. Like I watched the entirety of the match you guys had last week, and you looked really comfortable on everything you guys played. So I think that'll help you against Quackers, and so that's why I put it in your favor.
All right. Sans, Bento, anything to add?
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
there will be consequences. I think honestly, I don't even remember what I put for this one because I can't come to a decision. Right now, as of this very moment, I think it could be 3-2 Kappas. I think it could, because I'm pretty confident you guys still lose Flashpoint. I think I put down 3-1 Kappas. I don't remember. I literally have gone through every single result. I've been like, I can't make it up. Look, I have 2 different windows open right now.
Okay.
And one of them's looking at the power rankings, and one of them's looking at all of your faces.
Okay. We can go ahead and go into our third pred, which is going to be a battle of Team Iliad org. The admin doing these teams no favors, having them go against their old buddies. It's going to be Poseidon versus Ares here. It looks really close for all of us. I love this. I think it's going to be extremely close. I think it's going to be a pretty fun one too.
Wait, we all have.
Everyone except you has it 3-2.
Oh yeah, wait. I did have 3. Okay, yeah. I saw everyone else's. Thought it was 3-2 for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, this one I just didn't quite know on. I feel like it might go either way. I'm probably from what it sounds like, a lot of you are really high on Poseidon. So maybe I'm just wrong in thinking they're not as good as I thought they were. So I guess I'll just see after tomorrow.
And I picked Ares here because while Poseidon was really good, I feel like there's like really scrappy fights. They didn't win a lot of. They won pretty clean fights, and Ares won a ton of scrappy fights. So I think when it comes down to those scrappy moments, I think Ares is gonna be able to take the win, and that's why I put it 3-2 in favor of them. It's not gonna be like a clean win. It's gonna be pretty scrappy, but I think that's when they're gonna the one that they're gonna be able to like squeak out.
All right. I'll explain myself here. I have 3-2 because first off, I think Poseidon is the better team by a solid margin. Or the difference is, I think that I think Ares is gonna know how to play against Poseidon. I don't know why. I doubt they've scrimmed each other whatsoever. But I don't I have a little bit of inside knowledge about Poseidon. I don't think they're looking super strong outside of like pop off plays. And I think Ares is going to know how to be able to minimize that, honestly, because they do play scrappy. So I think it's going to be close. Like it could definitely go either way, but I have Poseidon winning it. Anyone else for anything?
think you
I
said it
don't
the best,
have-
honestly.
Yeah.
All right. We can go into our last game to watch here. It's going to be Gaslight Gatekeep Greetings versus Geometric. GGG's first one, and it's going to be against Geo.
Now, I'm noticing there's one particular outlier.
There's a little bit of pink in this sea of purple.
It's a little
Now.
bit of-
Now, before we go pointing fingers because I'm on a team in this division, I will say that had no influence over my pick. I personally think that we've not seen GGG play, so they could come out and just like be ready to stomp somebody in the water because they didn't get to last week.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, this is going to be one of those matches where I've looked at like every single possibility. It could be 3-0 Geo, it could be 3-1 Geo, it could be 3-2. Either way. And this was kind of like my I want to have a hot take. I think everybody's gonna pred Geo. I'm gonna pred GGG. I'm gonna be the odd man out here. But I don't know. I looking at their roster, I feel like they have a good shot to just make a little bit of noise, kind of come out and be like, hey, you didn't get to see us week 1, so let's have some fun.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say like that's why I went 3-2. I just don't know what to expect. Obviously, I hope that we win. I didn't feel confident enough to be like, I know this team, I know 3 of them, so I did not do that. So I went with 3-2 to play it pretty safe against them.
That's fair. I have it being 3-0. I just know nothing about GGG. I feel like the name Blatman is familiar, and I think that's their tank. I just do not remember what from, so I can't say whether that's a good indication or not of. Mel, have you heard of Blatman? I feel like it sounds
No.
familiar.
I think so. I didn't recognize anyone on this
Okay.
team from any other event. Hopefully, I'm not like obviously missing someone that I should know. If I am, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I recognize them.
I just saw in Twitch chat that GGG has Haydenator 12.
Oh,
I don't know who
really?
that is.
Is
Oh,
this-
Hayden
or-
Eater is good.
He's a pretty good Lucio.
He's a very good Lucio.
Do they
Yeah.
really have Hayden?
I think they.
I
said
don't know.
Hayden
They
was
must have
possible.
changed names or something, or that person's just trolling me.
That person might just.
It was Slimal, so
It could be.
I
Slime
do,
Ball
I do
trolling.
remember Slimo saying.
I
something
thought we
about
were on
Hayden.
good relationships, so I
Yeah.
hope he didn't.
I trust Slimal. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Hayden's above the SR. I don't know. I thought he was
His
like
name is Buns Bronson.
Masters GM.
I don't know. But
Oh, either way,
Okay.
that's just. a
I don't,
Lucio.
yeah, I don't know if
Lucio.
he changed his name or
Not
not
too
because he's
important.
not on the roster under Haydenator.
Lucio, who just said
I'm the
Lucio's not too
I'm the
important?
Lucio player.
Who just said Lucio's not too important? I don't know that.
Lucio is wonderful.
You ever say that again?
yeah, I don't recognize any of these guys. But I'm ready. That like for a
Okay.
match. Like I'm excited if they come out swinging. It'll be a good match. I
Alright.
obviously have to pred for us. Contractually,
That's
I'm
fair.
obligated. But I feel
feel
I'm
like-
excited for it.
I feel like I'm obligated to say you guys as well because you've been like my warm up partner for quite a while.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't pred you to win the group, so I think the least I can do is pred you at 3-0 here.
That's fair.
Anyone else have anything to say for this last matchup of games to watch?
I think it'd be really fun if they came out with the best.
You're very quiet. Can anyone else hear him?
I
Yeah,
think
no,
it'd
it's
be
cut out halfway
really
through.
fun
Oh, there we go.
if they can't. Sorry, I'm literally like my mic is over here, so. It's
Oh,
not-
okay.
yeah,
It's
my
just
bad.
so dark.
Yes, very dark and brooding, I guess you could say. I hope they come out. They got the best name in the league. I hope they come out and they 3-0 every single team. I hope they're number 1 the rest of the season. I want to gas this team up. It's a good name.
It is a good
Please
name.
don't come out and get 3-0'd. Please don't make me
Again.
look silly.
All right. So that will do it for our Preds. Once again, you can catch that tomorrow at 9 p.m. at twitch.tv/tranquilitygg. Going off the rest of the schedule, I believe tomorrow night after that Discord game is going to be Bronze Banter, hosted around this time, 10:30 tomorrow. I believe there will be the Iris podcast on Sunday. I'm not quite sure what time. I want to say that's going to be at 8:30 or 9. And then going off through the week, it's going to be at 8:30 Monday. It is going to be Harmony's featured matchup, and then directly following that, Gold Gossip, which is the Transcendence tier podcast, and then that'll be followed by Tuesday being the Transcendence featured match at 8:30, same Twitch channel, and then Wednesday, once again, wrapping back up today. Thank you all for joining us for this first episode. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much for all of you joining me. Have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.